also preserved.
What's up, family? Welcome to another edition of Flo30.
Dance, speaking our language.
Today we got Courtney, Renae Moss.
Paying homage to Penketano and artists.
She has a YouTube show, Conversations with Courtney. Military, mentorship, and beauty.
Solid foundation for
you got to check that out.
So where have we gone wrong? The industry is.
You are now listening to Durs McVeigh.
Confusion and hatred.
His latest release, The Phoenix.
Focus and dedication. As brothers and sisters in harmony, let's come together and defy the odds that are against us through honesty, challenges, and support. Let's just make it about.
Please share the live. Share the live.
It will all just
don't be shy.
And burn.
Share the live.
Ashes always rises the phoenix.
Durs McVeigh. Brothers dope. What's going on, Ryan? Welcome. Thank you for the support, brother. Ryan is in charge of the GANS project. We're going to get that basketball court up and running in Dangriga. Get some sports going again. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to turn the music down a little bit because I want to talk to you. What's going on, family? How you guys doing? Listen, Father's Day, we got haircuts going on. We're going to have haircuts in Dangriga with Zane. With Zane's haircut. You don't want to miss that. That is going to be on June the 19th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Free Father's Day haircuts right in Dangriga. Also in Piney with Grippa's Barbershop. We're going to have free haircuts on June the 19th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. in beautiful Piney. You don't want to miss it. What have you been up to? What's going on with you guys, man? I miss you. We got a lot going on in Belize. We got the teachers, they're upset about that 10%. I would be too. Got a lot just going on. I've just been chilling, watching what's going on. And I think it's very unfair that they want to take 10% from the teachers and everybody else that's involved with that. I don't think that's cool at all. They should be giving them 10%, not taking it away. My guest is here. I am going to go ahead and get her chimed in. Yeah, man, this whole teacher situation and this union situation is really crazy. But I'm enjoying them protesting and standing for their rights. Because at the end of the day, they're teaching our kids, right? And our children spend a lot of time with them. So they're also raising them. So they deserve that, man. They deserve a 10% increase, not to have money taken away from them. That's my opinion. We're going to have First Lieutenant Moss coming on. I'm so proud of her. Griffin American. Super dope. She is awesome. She's my cousin, but I'm not saying that because she's my cousin, but she's awesome. She's super dope. Yes, Courtney Renae Moss is coming on. You're listening to Durs McVeigh in the back. You got to check him out. What up, First Lieutenant?
Hi, fam.
How are you?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me okay? Is there any background noise?
I hear you very well.
Okay.
Very, very well.
Okay, good.
Very, very well. What's up, Unc? I see you. So, Court, what's happening, baby girl?
Just living. Today is graduation party day for a family member because I like planning. And so I'm
Right.
a part of the planning committee. And so,
Okay.
trying to find a quiet space in a quiet area, yeah, is a
It's hard,
task.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's right. So what you been up to?
Just work, new job, first lieutenant things, being a whole squad leader, and just a lot of moving parts. Like I'm like the second OIC for like IDT travel and things like that. Like
Check you
people
out.
throwing things at me all the time. And so trying to prioritize is a little difficult, right? So yeah.
Well, that's what you got responsibility written all over your
Yeah,
face.
lots of responsibility around here for sure.
That's what's up. So listen, let's get into I'll let everybody know that we're cousins. You're like my sister cousin. We
Mhm,
grew up together.
mhm,
Watching you grow from being born to now
mhm,
is just so amazing. Seeing the accomplishments that you're doing. School, graduating from school. I know we talked about you wanting to start your own business,
mhm,
which is super dope. You got your YouTube show.
mhm.
You have a lot going on. I'm very proud of you, and everything that you're doing is very informative. You're educating the folks, especially with your YouTube show and the different steps to military that you're talking about
Mhm.
there. That is very helpful. But let's go back into your let's go back into growing up.
Yeah.
Talk about growing up.
I grew up, let's see. I mean, you want to talk about kind of like my family and upbringing and things like
Yeah.
that. Okay, so we, as you know, but some may not know, we come from very strong Garifuna women and a strong household. So um my, great grandmother, nurse midwife in Dongriga, Belize, taking care of everyone around her. I think that's where I kind of picked that up from a little bit alongside of my father. But having my grandmother, Marcella Dawkins, she was a great force in all of our lives, from teaching
Yeah.
us how to take care of our family, but alongside of coming to the United States and making something for herself and just building that foundation for our entire family, and being able to see that in a positive, it has had a positive impact on my life, a great deal. So she was a caregiver and a CNA, and I picked up on that very early on in high school, and that's how I became a CNA, was through kind of the inspiration of her, just to get those first steps within the healthcare realm, and we'll get into that a little later. But essentially, my father, he was in the Navy for 20 years, a medic. And so that was an inspiration as well to push me forward with that. And then my mother, just her being strong, being pregnant, going to school, having two children and getting her master's degree, and being kind of essentially a matriarch within our family was huge for us, was I think huge for all of us. And so she really inspired me. I think our family, we have a lot of matriarchs in our family, and we have a lot of strong women in our family, and I was able to take that motivational piece out of that, right? And so I think that's a lot of our 1 second. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that in the background. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I hear it a little. It's okay. It's okay.
um but essentially with my upbringing and my family and everything like that, it for me, I was very inspired and motivated a lot. Hold on one second. I was inspired a great deal by the women in our family, for sure. And then, of course, like I said, my father, him being in the military for 20 years, and my mom being in the military, and you being in the military, and our entire family, like we have a long line of family within the military. And for me to be able to be that first lieutenant, was kind of, it was a really big deal for me. And that's why I took that step forward, was to kind of lead that force moving forward. And even for the young man who's going to be graduating today, he wants to join the ROTC program. So it's nice to be able to see me, I guess you could say, passing on that baton and being a inspiration to high school graduates that want to go into the military as an officer within our family. It's nice to see that.
Awesome. Now, you also mentioned your dad, and dads are very important
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to their kids and their life. How important was your dad to you?
Hugely, hugely. My dad, it's funny because, well, it's not funny, but there's that foundation that he kind of instilled in me, alongside of just being present, being there. I think early on within my life, I've always been a daddy's girl, always.
Okay.
And being able to see that man figure in the household was a big deal for me. Even though he would be on the ship at different times and things like that, I was able to really cherish our relationship a lot. And even as a grown woman, like being 30, like we have Dr. Love sessions and we talk. And I'll be throwing that out there too a little bit, but we do have we do have Dr. Love
Okay.
sessions, and he teaches me about like relationships and what it's like to be just what it means to be a wife and to have a husband in the household and to carry that. I think I also give a great kind of commend him a huge deal because he could have done so much more within the Navy, up for promotion when he retired. And so, but he took that step back so that he could be that father within our lives, and be
Right.
present. So I believe I was about 13, 14 when he retired, and Clifford was about 10 years old. And I think he took an evaluation of his life to see what was more important for him at that time in his life, and the importance came to his family, not so much his military career. And he already put 20 years in, so it was kind of like, we just gonna go ahead and get out. So it was a big deal for me to be able to see
Right.
sacrifices once again from my grandmother and my mother making sacrifices for their family. I also saw that from my father's standpoint of what is important to him at the core, and it was his family.
Awesome. What is the one thing that sticks with you that your dad talked to you about the most that you will always remember?
Family first. Family
Family
first.
first.
He's always the type where it's like make the most with your family now, because you never know when those last days are coming.
Got
And you need to speak with your elders. He's really big on lineage, and he's really big on that family tree. He carried that family tree around with him like just
it. Yeah.
everywhere, and it's commendable. I appreciate that because it's checking in with your family members just to
Yeah.
see how they're doing and to see how things are going. He's really big on that. He's really big on that, and I would say that he keeps that family dynamic going for both me and my brother, just to make sure that we insert ourselves into our families' lives and keep in touch with them and everything. I think, and it speaks to his character as well. Um, what It speaks to his character as well of how close he is with his in-laws, with his other side of the family.
Yeah.
You don't see that very often. You don't see that dynamic very often.
Right.
And the fact that you guys call him and check in on him and he does the same for you,
Yeah.
it speaks a lot to his character.
It does. I mean, whenever I need to talk to anybody, if there's somebody that I need to talk to, especially if it's very important, he's like the first person I call
Hmm.
because he's like really easy to talk to and he
Hmm.
doesn't judge you.
Correct.
That's what I love about him.
Correct.
He doesn't judge you. And I will say that watching him raise you guys allowed me to take some of those tools that he used and help me raise my
Hmm.
kids. Uh, Chelsea and Camden, very proud of them.
Hmm.
They're doing their thing. I'm
Hmm.
proud of you guys. You guys are doing your thing. I know that there was a point in your life where you were about to get married
Hmm.
and it didn't go accordingly,
Hmm.
unfortunately.
Hmm.
And you put out a video about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, it was going to be a 200-person wedding, with some people missing. Like if we wanted it to be 300 to 400 people, we definitely could have, right? And
Right.
so with such a big list like that, save the dates were going out, invitations were going to soon go out, and we had to let our family know, especially those that are overseas, right? We had to let them know
Right.
that there is no wedding. And so I decided to go ahead and post that up on my YouTube channel for sure, because it was a broad aspect, a broad area, right? It's like, okay, this is
Right.
what's happening. The wedding is off. And so I did not want to bash him because I was with my significant other for 5 going on 6 years. And so it's important to be able to illustrate the respect that you still have for that individual. I think out of hurt, people tend to bash the other person, but you have to be able to take accountability for your part within a breakup and within a
Right.
situation. And so with utilizing my YouTube platform, it was just to let everyone know the wedding's not happening anymore. And I am officially back in California. So whoever wants to
Gotcha.
brunch, let's brunch, you know? But yeah, it was pretty much that. It was just putting it out there, utilizing my platform to just let the family members know that it's not happening.
That's awesome that you mentioned that, even though you guys separated, it was an amicable
Hmm.
separation, because separations usually don't happen that way. It's usually there's some hate towards each other. Like you said, hate hurt people start to hurt people.
Hmm.
So the way you done that was very awesome. When you put the video out of that, what was the message that you were trying to portray to people that was listening to it?
The message I was trying to portray was just that there was no more wedding, first and
Okay.
foremost, but because you don't want people booking tickets to come out to a wedding
Right.
that's not happening, right? So
Right.
book that, just made sure to let people know that. But most importantly, I think just letting people know what we're not going to do is disrespect one another. I'm not going to utilize
Gotcha.
my platform to disrespect someone who I was with for 5 6 years. I'm not going to do that. And so letting it be known, although we may no longer be together, we're not going to show disrespect or disdain, for me on my platform first and foremost, but also for that individual as well, just to
Great.
show a different aspect what a breakup should look like, in a sense. Yeah.
a, nor- well, I can't call it normal, because the normal ones usually end up abnormal.
Hmm.
But you guys agreed to do it in a better fashion, in an adult fashion,
Right.
versus the way it would turn out.
Right.
Are you guys still friends? Do you guys still talk?
I wouldn't say that we're friends. Is there a conversation? Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. All right. I got you.
Yeah.
So let's get into your YouTube show, Conversation with Courtney. What brought that up? What made you want to do that?
So back in I want to say about 2015, 2016, one of my coworkers that I worked with in Long Beach, she was like, Courtney, you have so many things to say. Like, you have so much to say and you have so many things going on in your life. Like, why don't you vlog? And she brought up blogging, and I'm really good at writing, but I was like, nah, I don't want to do that. And then I was like, well, I could vlog. Like, that's not a problem. Like, why not? Right? Like,
Right.
I see nothing wrong with that. And I said, okay, I'm gonna start it, and never started it until uh last year, July of last year. It started
Okay.
off with Jake and I doing kind of like it was pretty much the Swirl Diaries. Like, we were talking about being in an interracial
Right.
relationship and our struggles of being in an interracial relationship and giving advice
Right.
and stuff. And then it trickled out of that into kind of military videos. So while I was away at one of my trainings, I was like, well, we have a lot of downtime. We're in quarantine. I can't do much of anything. So why not make my videos here? And so it started off like that, and it's grown ever since. I
Mhm.
do plan on expanding from the conversation of military and expanding into the conversations of like hair and motivational talks and my career and what that looked like for myself. So it will be expanding soon. I know that I need more consistency. So with everything going on in my life, I do need to schedule YouTube within my schedule a little bit more, for sure.
So where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I know we've talked about different things. You know, we talked about you opening up a nursing agency. I know you're very business driven,
Yes.
which is awesome,
Yes.
totally awesome. So where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself 5 years from now, I see myself in a director position at my current role, seeing me advance to a director, but also to have my business off and running. So Courtney's Companions and Caregivers, and having that as a skilled nursing facility or a skilled nursing agency, and then expanding that into various states. So looking at Arizona as a potential state, possibly opening up another one in Palm Springs. So looking at various retirement area where there are needs for senior citizens within those areas. So expanding my business within 5 years is a goal of mine for sure. Another goal is to be married and to have a couple of little babies running around here. Yeah, those are my goals. I feel like they're very realistic, right?
Right, they are. So as far as your business, I know we talked about, again, you said Courtney's Compassionate Caregivers.
Companions and Caregivers, yeah.
Companions and Caregivers, sorry about that. No. Have you ever thought about maybe branching that off into the Belize area?
Definitely. That is something that I've thought about within about 15, 20 years is something that I thought. It could definitely be something sooner, for sure. And providing low cost services to the Garifuna community is something that I'm definitely interested in. It's something that I thought about when I graduated with my bachelor's. It's something that really hit home for me of I could do so much here with healthcare, and how can I better the healthcare system in Belize. It's definitely something that I thought about. I mean, we could do whatever we want here, and that's fine, and get successful here. That's amazing, right? And provide services and provide donations and volunteer back home. That's fine. But you have to look and say, what am I doing? Right? Like what am I doing at the core? What services can I do to help promote the country where I'm from? I think you got to look at the core of yourself and see how you could do better. Yeah.
So then you're reaching out for your purpose, right? What is your true purpose?
Yeah, exactly. It's looking at your true purpose in life. Like, what does that look like? You can make money all day, but what is the footprint that you're leaving on this earth?
Right.
Yeah. What are
you doing with?
Yeah, exactly. You can't get buried with it, right? You can't. Right. You need to give back to your community some type of way. Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if you've been following what's going on in Belize with the teachers and them wanting to take away 10% from them. How do you feel about that?
It's hard. It's hard to see that because one of my good friends is a teacher. And so to see her, first of all, to see the teachers struggle the way that they naturally struggle in a pandemic, and then to have to take away funds from them. Teachers don't get paid a lot naturally anyway. And so the fact that you're taking more out of their pocket, more out of their families' mouths, it's tough to see that. It's tough to see that. And then you ask at the same time, where's that money going to?
Yeah.
So and we know what that looks like, right? So it's sad to see. It's definitely sad to see.
Somebody driving a brand new Hummer.
Exactly.
So if there's any advice that you can give to the folks that are listening in regards to following their dreams, education, anything, what would that advice be?
I would first start off by saying read. It's pick up a book and read. So I call this time frame my healing journey. So during this journey, there have been a couple of books that I've read. So Iyanla Vanzant's book, In the Meantime, is a very good read. It talks about dealing with various traumas and dealing with various things that happen in your life and how can you overcome that? How can you get out of that? There have been There actually have been a couple of books as well. It's like a successful guide for Black women entrepreneurs. That's a really good read as well. There's another book that I've been wanting to promote for the really longest time. So our cousin Cecilyn Hutchison, she has her book, Six Figures by 30. And it's a very good read. It talks about taking risks and being able to manifest the things that you want. So being able to take risk and jump from one to the next to get to where you need to be. That was a very good read for me. But
Okay.
when it comes to career goals and also going through anything, I'm really big on making sure that we manifest what we want, doing a lot of manifesting, doing a lot of praying, taking some time
Okay.
for yourself to get your emotional and mental together, right? And everything else would kind of follow through. A mental, emotional, spiritual aspects, and everything else will follow through. But one thing that I'm a big advocate for as well is making sure that therapy, people are taking their time and doing therapy. Some people aren't ready for that, right? And that's okay. But I've been in
Yeah.
therapy for about a year now. And also looking at various life coaches. So
Right.
career coaches, I got in contact with a career coach. So before I got this job, I was looking for a job during the pandemic. So a year, right? And that was tough. It was tough because you question yourself. You question
Mm.
yourself a lot during that journey. Like, oh my goodness, am I doing the things that I need to do? How can I do better? And so being able
Right.
to invest in yourself is important. So we could go ahead and buy new cars and buy Louis bags and Gucci bags and with our stimulus check, right? But then you're still without a job. So it's like,
Right.
are we investing in ourselves? Are we going
Right.
to either, are we doing therapy? Are we doing life coaching? Are we doing career coaching? How are you bettering yourself to get to that next level? I think that's so important. It's so important. So the takeaway from that essentially is looking at readings, books, um, meditation, manifestation, praying, but alongside of that, investing in yourself with life coaching. And I even have a financial coach to teach me about these investments and these stocks because that's hot right now. Because
Yeah.
you want to look 5 years, 10 years down the line and see how your money's working for you while you're sleeping. So it's
Right.
important to invest in ourselves, not with the J's, but how are you investing in yourself so that you can come up a little bit more?
I love everything you're saying. It's funny you mentioned therapy. I've been in therapy now for 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
and we hear therapy as African Americans, whether it's a female or a male, we hear it and we think it's like voodoo
Mm-hmm.
that nobody tell us anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what, it really helped me a whole lot, and I recommend therapy to any and everybody.
Yes.
And for those guys that are having issues, whether you're a Garifuna male,
Mm-hmm.
American male, Italian, whatever, you're having issues with relationships, I recommend Man on Fire.
Yes.
Check it out on Facebook, Man on Fire. Listen to some of the things that these guys are talking about, and it will change you. We got to put aside our pride
Yeah.
in order to be better. In order to become better
Yeah.
individuals, we have to put aside our pride,
Mm-hmm.
and like you said, we have to open up and we have to be transparent.
Yes.
If you're going to do these therapies,
Mm-hmm.
if you go into a therapist, you go into a psychologist, whatever, psychiatrist, you have to be very
Yes.
transparent with them
Mm-hmm.
if you expect this to work.
Mm-hmm.
So you just can't go in and BS them and feel that you're going to come to some form of recovery.
Right.
You're not, because there's going to be a slight trigger that's going to set you right back. So
Exactly.
if you're going to go in and do these therapies, please be transparent and get the best out of it so you can become a better version of you.
Exactly. And I totally agree with you over here preaching. Yes, I totally agree
You know,
with what you're saying though, because it's important for us to be able to advance as people and just advance as a person internally. You have to be able to put
right,
in that work. And it's not It's not just going to randomly, you know, get better for you. If you continue to go into your next relationship or your next venture with the same mindset that you had in the failed one or the past one, it's only going to continue to happen. And so you have to be able to put in that work as that individual and say, you know what, I want to do better for myself, and I need to be transparent, and I need to be honest, essentially, right? We have to be honest and vulnerable. We're very
Right.
strong people. And so being able to be vulnerable with someone you don't even know is scary. It's scary.
It
It's
is.
scary,
It
but
is.
it's that first step to advancement within yourself, to know that something better is coming. We can manifest all day.
Right.
But if we're not going to put in the work to do that, we're not going to get anywhere. And so, yeah, especially with relationships, it's so important to be able to take a step back and be like, you know what, I may need a little bit of extra something.
Right.
But like we said, it's also important to acknowledge that some people may not be ready for that, and some people may be scared of going and moving forward into therapy, and that is okay. It's on people's own timing.
That is okay. It just scares me though for the folks that know that they need it and they don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a scary
It's
situation
scary.
because then you just live in that vicious
Yes.
circle over and over. So no matter where you go, if you break away from one
Yeah.
relationship and you go to another relationship, you're bringing that back into that relationship.
Right.
And this person that you may be in a relationship may be a good
Yeah.
person, a very good
Yeah.
person, but there's something that person did to trigger
Yeah.
you, and now that person is no longer, you feel that person is evil for you
Yeah.
when it was just a trigger, but you don't want to face your triggers, whatever it may be.
Right.
So that's why issues are still going to follow you along.
Correct. And it's also important, I feel like, for our friends and our family members and things like that too. It's really important for our loved ones to be honest with us, and say, you know what, maybe you should look into therapy. And
Right.
there's always delivery as well. How you deliver that information is everything, because even mentioning therapy is a trigger for some people,
Yeah.
right? It's a trigger. So
Right.
even the delivery aspect of it is really important, to just say like, hey, you know what? I'm concerned, and I think that this might be the way for you, but you do that when you're ready. Let me know when
Right.
you're ready. Yeah.
But what do you do? What do you do in the meantime with that person, knowing that the issues that they have issues they're going through? Is that something that, do you still communicate with that person, or you let them be and let them learn the hard way? How do you handle that?
You guide them. You guide them to where they need to go. And if they don't take it, they don't take it. That's up to them internally if they want to take it or not. I always say be there for them though. Be there for them.
Gotcha.
They could complain and they could vent about the same thing that they've been venting to you about. And you could say, well, I told you to go to therapy. Don't talk to me about that. That's not the way to go, right? That's definitely
Right.
not the way to go. We just want to continue to be a listening ear. I think after things that happen in my personal life, family members, you know, suicide, things like that, it's always being a listening ear. Just being a listening ear, regardless of what it is that they're going through. Listen to what they're saying. Continue to throw that suggestion and throw that advice to them, and be like, you know what, like, I think it's time for therapy. And if they're like, you know what, I'm not ready for that yet, and it's like, okay, well, let me give you some other tools that I learned in therapy that helped me. Like, let me just throw some
Right.
gems at you and see if they take it. And if not, that's okay too. But just always continue to be there for them.
That's very true. We cannot, deny them because they already feel they're already in a depressed state or whatever mode they're in. So we don't want to add anything to that.
Correct.
That's one thing I would never tell somebody. I remember, as a younger Conrad, somebody would come to me and say, hey, man, I got this and that going. I'm like, man, get over that.
Mm-hmm.
Get over that.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned that I was wrong by saying that, because I don't know what the hell they're trying to get over.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're feeling. So I had to change my frame of mind and become a listener.
Yes.
It's okay to just listen and not answer, because sometimes people just want to talk. They're not looking for an answer. They just want to vent.
Right.
So that's what I've learned, is just to be that ear.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they ask me a question, if there's something that, if I've experienced what they're asking, I would let them know how I dealt with it.
Right.
and then see if they can take away bits and pieces from that and allow it to work for them.
Correct.
You know,
Exactly.
I would never tell anybody, get over it. I would never say that again, ever.
Because it's being compassionate. It's being
Yes.
compassionate to one another. And I think that's something else that we lack a big deal, is being compassionate to one another. And it's okay to address that person and be like, look, if you want to cry, cry. Like, don't hide that.
Right.
Nope, don't wipe them tears. It's okay. Let
Right.
that fall. Like, let that come up. Let that come out, because it's gonna come out in different ways. So, like, do you need a hug? It's all right. Like, let's talk, and it's okay. Something that really taught me that was the movie Inside Out. I know it's a little kid movie, but it really did teach me some things about like emotions and getting in touch with, you know, your feelings and things like that. So yeah.
Right. Well, Court, man, I really enjoyed this conversation. Super dope.
Me too. I'm super proud of you. You're doing great things out here, educating the community about various things, putting Garifuna music out there on the map. This is huge, very huge, and I'm very proud of you. And thank you for, you know, utilizing me for your platform. Thank you for all of that. I really do appreciate it. I really do.
Awesome. What is your next YouTube show? Let everybody know when
the next one will be next week. My last video was about uniforms. I know a lot of officers were, how do I do this? How do I wear this? And it's like, okay, like, we'll do a video. So I did a video last week about uniforms for officers. And so next week I want to dabble into kind of deep conditioners and how that looks like, natural deep conditioners, and how I kept my hair together while I was away for training as well. Because I know a lot of people are like, how do you do that? And it's like, let me put you up on game really quick. So yeah.
Well, all right, cuz I love you. I'm very proud of you. Keep up the good work. We're going to do this again.
Yes.
Because this is therapy within itself.
Yes.
You know, we get to bounce things off of each other.
Yes.
And I will continue to call you with my ideas, and I want you to be a part of everything that I'm doing. And I'm very proud of you, very, very proud of you. And you tell the family I love you.
Yes.
I love them.
Yes.
And enjoy your day.
Yes, enjoy yours. Love you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.